of devotion. So, Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion, these two books are very, very important for practicing devotees. See, Bhagavad Gita is our the book of the moment. Whenever we present our movement, we say that, our movement is dependent on the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. At the same time, Bhagavad Gita is open for all. All sampradayas, even Mayavadis, they study Bhagavad Gita. Same applies to Ishopanishad also. But these two books, Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion, are specifically very important for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. As we know, we are coming into the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, and Gaudiya Vaishnavas who are followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they do not exactly belong to Madhav Sampradaya. Actually, they belong to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sampradaya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took teachings of all Sampradayas, the basic teachings of all four Sampradayas. And on the top of it, he gave Harinam Sankirtan, the love of Godhead, which was not available in other Sampradayas. If you see, all Sampradayas only worshipped Krishna alone. There was no worship of Srimati Radharani. Like if you go to Jagannath Puri, there is no Radharani. If you go to Tirupati, Kanchipuram, Guruvayur, Badrinath, Dwarka, anywhere you go, all prominent temples of Vedic India, all four paramparas, wherever they are serving, there is no worship of Srimati Radharani. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically gave us Srimati Radharani's worship. And therefore we are called Gaudiyas. Those who worship Shakti, those who worship Durga are called Shakta. Those who worship Krishna, they are called Karshaneya. Those who worship Vishnu and incarnations of Vishnu, they are called Vaishnav. But worshippers of Srimati Radharani are called Gaudiyas. So we are worshippers of Srimati Radharani, followers of Srimati Radharani. And for us, Srimati Radharani is available as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, we are actually followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But there is one problem. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself did not write any books. So, in order to get teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have to understand what was his mood. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only gave us 8 verses, which are called Siksha Ashtakam. These 8 verses are the very heart and soul of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He himself would recite them again and again. But apart from these 8 verses, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not write any book. But what he did, he gave instructions to Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatan Goswami. For days together, he preached one-on-one, individually, to Sri Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Specifically, he instructed Sanatan Goswami to write literatures on the pastimes of Lord. So Sanatan Goswami wrote Brihat Bhagavatamrita, Hari Bhakti Vilas and other literatures. And Rupa Goswami also wrote many literature related to pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. But Rupa Goswami also wrote 2 main books, which are Upadesh Amrit and Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. These 2 books are like law books for practicing devotees. It starts with Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada says that nectar of instruction is for neophytes. Of course, we will see what is the level of nectar of instruction. So it's not basically neophytes, but as per Goswami's standards, that is neophyte stage, where nectar of instruction level is expected. But then when one starts to practice Krishna consciousness, then subsequently he is expected to come to the level of nectar of devotion. So that comes second. First comes nectar of instruction. So therefore today we are starting with this book, Nectar of Instruction. As we discussed, this is very rarest of the teachings. Even in 4 paramparas, we are very fortunate to be under Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally taught Sri Rupa Goswami. He personally trained Srila Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami wrote this book. So we can understand how important this book is. The Sanskrit name is Upadesh Amrit. Generally, Upadesh is not very nectarian. Upadesh means instruction. So if you instruct somebody, generally it is not nectarian. Nobody likes feedback. Like suppose you cook something, then Matajis can relate with it. If Matajis cook something and they come to some people whom they served and they ask, how was the cooking? The general answer they expect is nice, right? They want to hear some glorification of the cooking. If somebody tells by default in something, salt is more or this is less, you don't like it generally. So nobody likes feedback, nobody likes upadesh, nobody likes instruction. But these instructions are for those people who want to progress in spiritual life. Therefore, we have to take these instructions as nectar. They are amrita. Amrita means nectar. What is the quality of nectar? Nectar can make dead person alive. So we are in conditioned state. Our bhakti is dying. Our love for Krishna is dormant. We are so far from our spiritual reality. These instructions reawaken our love for Krishna. Therefore, they are nectar of instruction. There are so many instructions: how to sit, how to walk, how to eat, how to behave. But these instructions are so potent, they can revive our dormant love for Krishna. Therefore, they are called Upadeshamrit, nectar of instruction. And the good news is, there are only 11 verses in this book. So, Ishopnishad, you were happy. That's a small book. But you can be happier that this is even smaller book. So, in a nutshell, Srila Rupa Goswami summarizes the instructions which are very, very important for a neophyte devotee. So let us begin it by offering our respects to Srila Rupa Goswami. He is the writer of this book. And Rupa Goswami, why he is so special? Let us see this by this verse. You all know this verse. We chant it every day. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. One who understands Mano Abhishtam, the internal mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sthapitam Yena Bhutale, and he established that mood and teachings for people in general. Swayam Rupa Kadamayam, when will that Rupa Goswami Dadati Swapadantikam, give me shelter of his lotus feet? So, Sudevi Mataji, can you read the translation?
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. When will Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya. Give me shelter and his lotus feet. Mangalacharan.
So Rupa Goswami is so dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he understands his mood. You see, there are different grades of servants. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was living in Jagannath Puri, his personal assistant was Govinda. And Govinda was so dedicated to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then day and night, he would be just serving. One time, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took prasad and he went to his Gambhira room, it is a small room. If you have went to Jagannath Puri, you must have seen that room. It's a small room where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to stay in the house of Kashi Mishra. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu slept in a way blocking the entrance of the room. Now, this Govinda wanted to go and serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How to go? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is stopping the way to go inside. So I'm showing you that photo, what exactly happened. Okay. Can you see this photo? So see, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sleeping, in a way that he's blocking the entrance and his feet are inside. Now Govinda, his servant, every day he would come and he would massage Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet. And then he would take his prasad. But then now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is blocking the way. So what he did, he took off his upper garment, put on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body. He crossed over Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body and came inside. Okay? And then he started massaging Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet. Now, after Mahaprabhu woke up, Govinda was sitting inside. So Mahaprabhu asked Govinda, how come you are sitting here? You didn't take prasad today? He said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are sleeping in a way, you are blocking the way. How I'll go out? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, the same way you came in, you could have gone out. How you came in? And Govinda told, no, for your service, I can cross over you. But for my own food, for my own sense gratification, I can't do this offense. So that was his dedication to serve. But how many of you chant Govinda's name every day? That Govinda ki jai. You say every day? No. But one person, every day we chant his name in Jayadhwani. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Right? Have you ever wondered why we only chant Haridas Thakur's name? There are so many Vaishnavas. After Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, we chant Haridas Thakur's name. Because Haridas Thakur did what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give holy name. And Haridas Thakur chanted 192 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, and he preached to others as well. So Govinda is great, but greater service than Govinda is Haridas Thakur's service, where Haridas Thakur took the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So more than personal service, Vapu Seva, Vani Seva is more important, where Haridas Thakur did what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expected. Now, how many of the devotees here know Pranam Mantra of Haridas Thakur? Anyone? You don't know Pranam Mantra of Haridas Thakur. But one Pranam Mantra, all of you know. Just we chanted little while ago. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. Rupa Goswami's Pranam Mantra. Why Rupa Goswami is even more special for us? Even more special than Haridas Thakur. because Haridas Thakur stayed with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and served him. But Rupa Goswami stayed far away on instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Vrindavan. And understanding the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he served. He know Chaitanya Manobhishtam. He know the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in Rath Yatra, and in that Rath Yatra ceremony, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was singing, love songs. He was singing as if a lover is missing his beloved. And he was telling that, I am not feeling happy here. Let's go near the bank of the river and things like that. And people are wondering what happened to this sannyasi. He is not supposed to talk all these things, and he's singing this in Rath Yatra. After some time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to meet Haridas Thakur. And that was the time when Rupa Goswami was visiting Puri also. So Rupa Goswami that time wrote on a manuscript. They used to write on a palm leaves before. So he wrote the internal meaning of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was singing in Rath Yatra. So he wrote that time that actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is singing in the mood of Srimati Radharani. As Srimati Radharani misses Krishna, Srimati Radharani tells that you are same Krishna, I am same Radha, but this place of Kurukshetra is not right. I am missing the bank of river Yamuna, where you would play flute and we would enjoy pastimes in the grooves of Vrindavan. So, actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was surprised how Rupa Goswami understood my internal mood. I was singing just some material songs and he understood the real meaning. So, Sarup Damodar, who is secretary of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that without your mercy, nobody can understand your mood. So, if Rupa Goswami is understanding your mood, that means you have specially empowered him. And that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mildly slapped Rupa Goswami and said, you understand my mood. So that's how this prayer came. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam. That you understand the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, studying books of Rupa Goswami is very, very important for us to understand what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expected from us. We are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, but actually how we understand the expectation of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Rupa Goswami's literature. Now, Rupa Goswami has written many, many books, but out of them, actually, Srila Prabhupada only gave us two main books. That is Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion. So many books are available from Rupa Goswami, but actually these two books Prabhupada gave us as the very basis of Krishna consciousness movement. To the degree, Srila Prabhupada writes in the preface of Nectar of Instruction that this Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. Actually, this movement is running under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. That is what Srila Prabhupada writes. Therefore, we are actually called Rupanugas. See, there are many categories. If somebody calls us Vaishnavas, that is fine. But which Vaishnava? We are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We are followers of Srimati Radharani. We are followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Now, within Gaudiya Vaishnavas, there may be many branches. Like their Advaita Acharya, he has his branch, he has his sons, and he has his lineage. Then Nityanand Prabhu has his lineage, Nityananda Vansha. There are so many lineage, even in Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So which Vaishnava we are in Gaudiya? We are Rupanugas. We are followers of Srila Rupa Goswami. And within Rupa Goswami, there are so many branches still. They are God earmarked. There are so many disciples of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So within Rupa Nugas, we are Prabhupada Nugas. We are followers of Srila Prabhupada. So that is our perfect lineage, and that is our identity in spiritual parampara. Yes, Saurabh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, there are two books you said. One is Nectar of Instruction. The other book,
Nectar of Devotion.
Nectar of Devotion.
Nectar of Devotion. That's the
And-
book which we will study.
And second, Prabhu, I just wanted to know, Prabhuji, that like for example, Haridas Thakur ji used to do 192 rounds, and then he used to preach also. So normally for us, when it's like we normally take 2 hours for completing 16 rounds, and then 192, and then preach, and then probably he would, you have to
Yeah,
take care of daily activities.
I
Also.
got your point. Actually, they used to take little less than 2 hours, not exactly 2 hours. And it is told Haridas Thakur would chant 64 rounds without uttering, which is called Upangshu. Then 64 rounds loud chanting, and 64 rounds in Sankirtan, going out and chanting with people. So that's how he used to chant 192 rounds. 64 Upangshu, that's silent chanting. 64 rounds loud chanting. 64 rounds Sankirtan. So that's how he would go out and engage others in Sankirtan. Okay?
Oh.
So, yeah, I was discussing, yes. So Srila Prabhupada gave us in the hands of Srila Rupa Goswami. He expects us to follow the instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami. Amal Arjun Prabhu, can you read this quote?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. To understand the mission of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis. Preface of Sri Upadeshamrita.
It's a very important statement. If you want to understand the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow his footsteps, one has to be very seriously following the footsteps of 6 Goswamis. Rupa Raghunath Pade Hoibe Akuti Kabe Ham Bhujavo Se Jugala Piriti. It is written in our Vedic, not Vedic, in Vaishnav song, sung by Narottam Das Thakur, that if you really want to understand the loving affairs of Sri Sri Radha Krishna, then study the literature given by 6 Goswamis. This literature given by 6 Goswamis is so important that it can give us the access to understand the pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. As I was discussing in the beginning of the session, that this was rarest of the rare. The love of Srimati Radharani is not even available in other paramparas, but the access is given through the 6 Goswamis. And among these 6 Goswamis, Rupa Goswami was considered to be the leader of all Goswamis. Although Sanatan Goswami is elder brother of Rupa Goswami, and Rupa Goswami considers him as a Siksha Guru, but still Sanatan Goswami and other Goswamis would treat Rupa Goswami as their leader. So he was the leader of all Goswamis, and to guide us, he gave us this Updeshamrit, nectar of instruction to follow. So you can see here in this picture, this is very old picture. Now, of course, they have changed so many things. But in Vrindavan, in Radha Damodar temple, this is the holy Samadhi of Srila Rupa Goswami. Actually, this is Samadhi, where my cursor is. And this is his Bhajan Kutir, where he would stay, he would write. And it's a very holy and potent place. If you go to Vrindavan, please spend some time here. You can pray to Rupa Goswami that we are expected to be your followers. Please guide us. Please instruct us. Please allow us to follow your teachings. So they have made a nice hall over it. so that, devotees can sit in the hot season, rainy season. So you can spend some time here. This is in the holy temple of Sri Sri Radha Damodar. And in the same place, Srila Prabhupada would stay before going to America. So Prabhupada would stay in the humble rooms in Radha Damodar. Of course, this photo which you see now is after ISKCON started. This photo is after ISKCON started. So Prabhupada has nice plates and cups and things. But when Prabhupada used to stay, it was a very humble living. Prabhupada would cook his own food. He would, he was living in very austere condition. But from his window, he would see Sri Rupa Goswami's Samadhi. And many times he would pray for the direction of Srila Rupa Goswami. And Prabhupada even told that he had many times vision of Srila Rupa Goswami, assuring him that you just go and preach, I am with you. So that is special mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami on Srila Prabhupada. First time when Srila Prabhupada brought his disciples to Vrindavan, and he spent whole month of Kartik in Radha Damodar temple. That time our ISKCON temple in Vrindavan was not built. So Srila Prabhupada stayed in Radha Damodar in his same rooms, and all devotees also stayed. And for 1 month of Kartik, Prabhupada lectured every day in the courtyard of Radha Damodar temple by the Samadhi of Srila Rupa Goswami. And guess what? He lectured on Nectar of Devotion. So every day Prabhupada would lecture on the books of Srila Rupa Goswami. So this is very important, and Prabhupada brings out the purpose of this book. What is the purpose of this book? So let's read this. Kripalu Keshavi Mataji, can you read this? You are
Hare
unmuted?
Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yes, please.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva Guna, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, and then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed.
So Srila Prabhupada is telling, we have already read in Gita also, Bhagavad Gita also, that we have to come to the level of Sattva. Of course, our goal is pure Sattva. But if we come to Sattva Guna, it is easier to move to pure Sattva. So one has to promote himself to the mode of goodness. And instructions of Srila Rupa Goswami helps us to come to the mode of goodness. But that's it? Is it what retrospect instruction is giving? No. Then Prabhupada is saying, once you come to the level of mode of goodness, then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. So devotee further progresses in Krishna consciousness after coming to the mode of goodness. And Rupa Goswami's teachings will further carry him towards the spiritual advancement. Varat Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu, I mean, when we're talking of the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, so one can look at it spiritual, transcendentally, or is it also materially? Question one. This is question one. And question two is,
we'll go one by one.
Okay, fine. Let's go one by one.
It's both, because you will see in Nectar of Devotion that Rupa Goswami is even telling about external habits like taking bath, brushing teeth, cutting nails. All these details Rupa Goswami is telling. So even materially, person will come to the mode of goodness, and spiritually, of course, his consciousness, his way of thinking, everything comes out of the clutches of passion and ignorance. And not only that, Prabhupada is saying then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. So it's not that he'll be stuck in mode of goodness, but further to the pure devotional service. Yeah.
Yeah. So the second part of the question is that there is something for you materially to move from ignorance towards goodness or to goodness materially? Or is it something which you need transcendental or spiritual, practices which will bring you towards mode of goodness?
Yes. So, as I was telling, even in Nectar of Instruction, we will see the first 4 verses are talking about both external habits and internal consciousness. Then, after that, 3 verses are talking about holy name and internal consciousness. And then, last 3 verses are telling about the perfection of devotional service. In the same way, Nectar of Devotion also, there are proper systematic gradation that how person externally comes to the mode of goodness, then working on consciousness, then coming to the pure goodness. So Rupa Goswami gives the whole package. Somebody who is in the bad habits of ignorance and passion can also improve by reading these books. He can also improve that, oh, I have to have these good habits of Satoguna. So even externally, internally, spiritually, materially, all package is given in these 2 books.
Okay, thank you.
To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Updeshamrit. So actually, spiritual life starts when one endeavors to control mind and senses. Somebody who is not able to control his mind and senses, very, very difficult for him to progress in his spiritual life. So Prabhupada writes in the preface of Nectar of Instruction that our goal is to become a Goswami. Every devotee should be a Goswami. Go means senses, and Swami means master of the senses or controller of the senses. Master of senses is Krishna, but devotee is controller of the senses. So Goswami, how to become Goswami? By following the instructions of Rupa Goswami. And being a Goswami doesn't mean pure devotee. Being a Goswami means having control on mind and senses. Then when somebody has control over mind and senses, then he can be engaged in pure devotional service, and then he can be called as a pure devotee. So all these instructions are very nicely given in Updeshamrit. So Prabhupada is writing in very simple words. Updeshamrit constitutes first instructions for neophyte devotees. One should follow these instructions very strictly. Then it will be easier to make one's life successful. So Prabhupada expected devotees to follow instructions given in this book very seriously. Now little background about the book. As I told, there are 11 verses. Now you must be seeing some new words here. Of course, many devotees here already know these terms, but I am just repeating it. There are 2 types of bhakti. One is sadhan bhakti, one is prem bhakti. Sadhana bhakti means bhakti practiced as per rules and regulations. That is sadhana bhakti. Prema bhakti means bhakti done out of pure love. Now in between sadhan bhakti and prema bhakti is bhav bhakti. Bhav bhakti is like a transition from sadhana bhakti to prem bhakti. Now this sadhana bhakti is of 2 types. Vaidhi bhakti and Raganuga bhakti. We are going to discuss this in Nectar of Devotion again. So if you can't take it fully, don't worry. We are going to take it again in Nectar of Devotion, but I'm just giving a small idea about it. Sadhana, as you know this word sadhana. Sadhana means everyday practice of Krishna consciousness. So this sadhana is of 2 types. One is Vaidhi bhakti, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. One is Raganuga sadhana bhakti. What is this Vaidhi sadhana bhakti? Vaidhi sadhana bhakti means when one does things forcefully. Somebody is on top of us. Shloka test. Otherwise, we will not study any verses. Only because of Shloka test, by the mercy of Shloka test, we are remembering some verses. Exam. Because of exam, we are studying purports of Srila Prabhupada. So this is Vedi Sadhan Bhakti. Morning program, like in temples, we have attendance. Temple devotees, if their attendance is low, then temple commander is after them. So this is Vedi Sadhan Bhakti. Or in simple terms, we go in front of Guru, we promise Guru, we chant 16 rounds, we'll follow 4 everyday principles. We don't want to chant, we have no taste to chant. But still we chant because we have promised to the spiritual master. That is Vedi Sadhan Bhakti. Raganuga means when this practice is done spontaneously. When you really like to chant, when you really like to get up early and attend Mangalarti, when you really want to serve, when you really want to progress in spiritual life, nobody has to force you. Of course, Raganuga has a different meaning altogether, which we will discuss in Nectar of Devotion. But if in simple terms, if we discuss here, Raganuga means spontaneous sadhana, spontaneous Shravan Kirtan. Many people misunderstand it, that, oh, Raganuga means you don't need to go to Mangalarti, you don't need to chant. It's not like that. Raganuga means now you no longer need alarm clock to get up. You get up spontaneously. That is Mangalarti time. You don't need a supervisor to be after your case. You spontaneous come to serve the Lord. You spontaneous chant, you spontaneously read. So you practice your sadhana spontaneously. That is Raganuga Bhakti. And then Bhav Bhakti and Prem Bhakti means when devotee gets pure love of Krishna. That is the highest perfection of life. Then there is no considerations of rules and regulations. Like you can't ask that, oh, Radharani, how many rounds you chant? Radharani doesn't need to chant rounds, She is always Krishna conscious. Are you asking Balaram, are you following 482 principles? We have heard you drink Varuni. So that comes under intoxication. So you are not following 4 regulative principles. We can't tell Balaram that, They are Prem Bhaktas. So that is very high level of devotional expertise. So we will come to that. So this whole Nectar of Instruction book is divided into these 3 parts. First 7 verses are dealing with Vedi Sadhana Bhakti, which is most important for us. We are at this level. Most of us. Maybe some Raganuga Bhaktas may be there, or some Prem Bhakta may be there, but most of us are in Vedi Sadhana Bhakti, where we need force, where we need supervision, where we need rules and regulations. So that is first to 7 verses. 8th verse is Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, that is spontaneous sadhana. And 9 to 11 is Bhav Bhakti and Prem Bhakti. So we are going to discuss this one by one. But Prabhupada makes a very, very important statement. And this one statement can really, be a point of discussion for hours together. But we'll not go into that detailed discussion. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on attitude of the follower. Means what? Some devotees can share their thoughts. I'm sure you must have read this before. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on attitude of follower. Anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Advance.
Yes.
Prabhu, advancement attitude means how sincere he is, how committed he is towards the movement, towards his guru.
Yeah.
And how consistent he is.
The process is there, but how sincere, how committed the person is, accordingly, he will advance in his spiritual life. Very good. Bharat Krishna Prabhu?
Well, I know it from the corporate world a bit, that attitude is like you are hardwired. I don't know whether you I mean, everybody understands this
I
term
never,
hardwired.
I never worked in corporate world, Prabhu, so you can explain little
No,
bit.
no. So, okay, the hardwired means that, you know, while you recruit people with certain attitude, you don't recruit them because they are highly qualified and they want to have it just their own way. So you don't want these kind of people in an organization. They, you know, they are not flexible at all. Actually, hardwired means there is no flexibility.
Like I have heard one time, a disciple went to Guru, and this was Goswami's time in Vrindavan, and he told that, my dear spiritual master, please give me initiation. So Guru told that, why you want initiation? He says, because I have learned all the 4 Vedas, because I am the son of a big Jamindar, because I chant holy name all the day. Then Guru tells, all the best. Why you need me? You are so qualified. Why you need me? So if we have this egoistic approach, we can't progress in Krishna consciousness. One has to be receptive, sincere, committed, humble. Anupama Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, or we can say it's like the 2-finger principle. The more we do effort, the more mercy we get.
Yes, exactly. I think I've shared this with you. There is one monkey and monkey baby theory. Did I share this with you?
Yeah, you did.
I did. So our is
You
hold.
did.
Our is hold and pull principle. We have to make endeavor. As much endeavor we'll make, parampara will help us. So that's our approach. You know, the person has to have a proper attitude, and that's how he gets more and more opportunities to serve. Yes, Saurabh Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have one question which is, I think, of a different view than this. It's like, for example, many times it is said that good behavior or a good attitude that one person gets is the outcome of his past deeds, past karma deeds. Now, suppose for a person who is not doesn't have a good attitude, or he gets anger, or he gets, he gets angry, or his mind is disturbed with a lot of thoughts, it is because of the past karma. Now, if he's not able to concentrate on God's devotional life, then probably how do we see that is in that perspective?
For receiving opportunity to practice Krishna consciousness, there are no qualifications required. Everyone will get opportunity. Everyone, when I say everyone means, everyone will come across devotees. They will get opportunity. But once we accept this process, Prabhupada is saying about advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on attitude of follower. So suppose that person remains same attitude, then he will progress, but he will not progress as much. Person with a humble attitude will progress. So that is the whole purpose. Like if that person stays on, gradually he will also progress. This Krishna consciousness is so pure, anybody joining Krishna consciousness will progress. But as per different people's approach, they will get benefit accordingly. That is the whole idea of this advancement in Krishna consciousness. It's not telling that qualification to come in Krishna consciousness is attitude. No, there is no qualification to join Krishna consciousness. But advancing further depends on the attitude of the follower. How much he is ready to learn. Okay, I have 108 faults, but how much I am eager to learn, how much I am eager to improve myself, that is important. So Prabhupada is expecting, at least we may be having so many faults, so many fallacies, but at least we should be ready to learn. And as much we are eager to learn, we will be helped by parampara. Okay?
Okay.
So let's start with shloka number 1. This shloka is very important shloka and very simple also, because half of the shloka is just Vegam. So it's easy to remember. Please repeat after me. Vachu vegam manasa krodha vegam.
Vachuvegam,
Bodhavegam.
Udavegam,
Udarapastha vegam.
Jihvavegam. Nikaropasthavegam.
Vastavegam.
Etan vegam
Etan vegan yoga
sarvam imam prithvim sashishyat. Vachu vegam manasa krodha vegam. Jivva vegam udarapastha vegam. 6 things are told in this verse. Somebody who can control these things, 6 urges, what he can do? Sarvam apimam prithvim sashishya. He can make disciples all over the world. Now somebody may ask, we have started the book and we thought this is beginner's book. And here Rupa Goswami is telling that you will become guru of the whole world. You will become spiritual master of the whole world. So we don't want to become guru. We have come here to become disciple. So how come Rupa Goswami is telling that you control these 6 urges and you can make disciples all over the world? I don't want to make disciples. So is that I should skip this verse? No, there are 2 reasons. First is, a good disciple only becomes a good spiritual master. If you're not a good disciple, you can never become a good spiritual master. And second thing is, Rupa Goswami tells in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti starts with Adav Guru Ashraya, means surrendering to a bona fide spiritual master. So we should recognize also who is bona fide spiritual master. We should not just end up with some Tom, Dick, Harry who has no sense of spiritual life just because we like his face or we like his waving of hands or something like that and make him guru. It doesn't happen like that. Guru means one who should control these 6 urges. What are these 6 urges? We'll go to it. Before that, let's understand a little background. See, when you have urges, you perform any activity. Suppose if you don't feel hungry at all for 15 days, you will not take trouble of cooking and cleaning and eating and going to washroom. If you don't feel hungry, you will never eat. Or suppose you don't have urge to taste, nobody will eat gulab jamun, then everybody will satisfied with little khichdi. If it's just about filling stomach and no taste, then it doesn't make difference you are eating khichdi or gulab jamun. So these urges make us do something. Now, in most of the cases, when senses are not controlled, these urges make us do sinful activities. Now, people may say, okay, I have done 20 sinful activities and I will do 21 good activities and that will nullify. It doesn't happen like that. People call as atonement. It's very famous in the Western world, especially in Christianity. Prabhupada would joke many times that one time one person went to the church and he told Father, every week I give you $100. This week I am giving you $200. Why? He said, next week I will not be able to come. So since that I'll perform next week, I am atoning for it now only. So Prabhupada is saying, what is the meaning of atonement then? If you are so confident that you will perform that sinful activity again, that this atonement is like elephant bath. And this is told by Parikshit to Sukadeva Goswami. Actually, Sukadeva Goswami tells about hellish planetary system in 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The last chapter, 29th chapter of 5th canto, tells about sorry, 28 types of hellish planets. So after hearing description of these hellish planets, Parikshit Maharaj asked Sukdev Goswami that how people will rectify them, because the tendency, the urges are still there. If they are not purified, that sinful tendencies will make them act sinfully again. So that type of punishment, that type of atonement is just like elephant bath. Elephant bathes very nicely. It has inbuilt hand shower, not hand shower, nose shower. So no animal had this facility, Elephant can put water anywhere, sprinkle nicely with pressure and wash very nicely. But after taking bath, what elephant does? Elephant comes out and rolls in the mud. It's elephant bath. So sinful activity cannot be contracted by pious activity, because person will end up doing sinful activity again. So how to rectify that? Prabhupada is telling what one should do. Usha Mataji, can you read this?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Real atonement involves coming to real knowledge, and for this there is a standard process. When one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick.
Prabhupada giving an example. You fall sick, you take medicine. You will again fall sick, you again take medicine. But if you follow a regulated life, hygienic life, you will not fall sick. So real atonement means coming to real knowledge. That is real atonement. If one keeps on practicing sinful activity again and again, that atonement is not a proper atonement. Devadev Prabhu, can you read this?
However, if one is fortunate enough to get the association of a pure devotee, he can easily surpass all the practices of controlling his mind by the mystic yoga process, simply by following the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness. This easy process is being recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. Next one.
Some people, they are intelligent, that they hear and understand. Like one time Prabhupada was asked, Swamiji, why are you telling that this intoxication is bad? Have you ever tasted LSD? What was Prabhupada's answer? Prabhupada said, you don't need to taste stool to tell stool is bad. Wise person, intelligent person, understand just by hearing and seeing. But a foolish person, he will commit mistake and then learn. But the darkest of ignorance is person, even after doing that nasty activity, they don't understand and they repeatedly do it. So if a person is in that state, he will commit sinful activity again and again. You can't stop that by mere atonement. You can punish him, but he will end up doing it again. But if he is fortunate enough to get association of pure devotee, in association of pure devotees, his Krishna consciousness is reawakened. And when Krishna consciousness is reawakened, automatically all sinful tendencies fade away. Krishna hai Suryasam, Maya hai Andhakar, Jahan Krishna taha nahi Maya radhikar. Wherever there is Krishna, who is like sun, there cannot be any darkness of Maya. So that is the process of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, these 6 terms are discussed by Rupa Goswami. That we have to come out of our sinful activities. How do we do that? By controlling these 6 urges. Let us read the translation for text 1. Sachidanand Prabhu, can you read translation for text 1? Please unmute.
Yes, sir, Prabhuji. Okay, the translation for text 1.
Yes.
A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demand, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world.
So these 6 urges are vacha. Vacha means tendency to speak. Very dangerous. Generally, people can fast, but they can't fast from speaking. They will speak, somehow they will speak. Even if you don't ask them to speak, they will speak. We can observe in our own lives. It's very difficult to control urge of speaking. Prabhupada compared this with, what they call frog. The frog makes sound, unnecessarily sound. And what frog does? Frog invites snake to eat him. Because if frog doesn't make noise, snake will not understand where he is hiding. But because frog makes sound, snake understands the location and snake takes off the frog. In the same way, people who are speaking unnecessarily day and night, they are inviting their death. Ayur harati vai punsam. Every day, by rising of sun and setting of sun, days are going. Every year we are celebrating our birthdays. We are not realizing that one more year is gone. Now I was working on new calendar for 2024. And I was thinking that just some time back I was designing 2023. 1 year is gone. What I have done in this 1 year? So this time is going. We are going closer to death. But still, this tendency of speaking unnecessarily things, prajalpa, is so inherent in us. Vacha. Second is manasa. The urge of mind is more dangerous because mind can wander anywhere. We experience this while chanting. The tongue is vibrating, but mind is having a nice world tour without any visa or ticket. Mind is going everywhere. That is manasa vega. Then third is krodha. See, mind plans for sense gratification. And when those desires are not fulfilled, there is krodha. There is anger. Very difficult to control anger. People know they are speaking rubbish, but they can't help themselves in anger. So they shout, they scream, they speak all kind of rubbish things, and they spoil relationships, they spoil their career, they spoil everything in krodha. In Krishna consciousness, we end up committing offenses in krodha, in anger. The krodha vegam. Fourth is jivva vegam. Jivva. Jivva means tongue. Again, difficult subject, because when it comes to eating, we are very good eaters in ISKCON. Our highest book, Chaitanya Charitamrita, is a cookbook in itself, talking about so many varieties of foodstuffs. So when it comes to eating, it's difficult to control the urge of eating. But what happens, one who eats anything and everything, Jivere lalasa iti uti dhaye, Shishnudhar parayan Krishna nahi paye. One who is so much attached to eating nice foodstuffs, iti uti dhaye, he is running here and there to get newer and newer tastes. We do that, going to restaurants or, trying new recipes at home, searching many YouTube channels, what new recipe for Ekadashi Prasad. These all things we do that. Iti uti dhaye, Shishnudhar parayan. What will happen? They will have more trouble with controlling their sexual desires. Krishna nahi paye. They will not get Krishna. So eating is very much directly related to controlling stomach and genitals. Prabhupada says they are in same line. Mouth, stomach, genitals. If you can control mouth, if you can control tongue, then you can control belly and genitals also. But if train is late from station 1 It will get late in other stations also. So we have to control our eating. Udar. Udar is belly. Somebody may ask, what's the difference in tongue and belly? Both are related to eating. No, they are not. Tongue is about taste. Belly is about quantity. We end up eating more than necessary. You know, it tells that 40% of the food that we eat is sufficient to maintain us, and 60% that we eat is sufficient to maintain our doctor, because we are eating 60% extra, which is maintaining our doctor, medicines and all this stuff. Of course, in Mauritius, medical is free, but Indians can relate with it because so much money is spent in medicines and doctors and this and that. So Jivva and Udara both are related to eating, but first is for taste and second is for quantity. And Upastha means genitals, sexual desire, sexual urge. So these 6 are the urges which are very detrimental to our Krishna consciousness. But how to control them? Prabhupada is giving simple solutions. They're very practical and simple solutions based on our daily practice of Krishna consciousness. Sachi Maharani Mataji, you have any question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have 2 questions. The first is like how important for us is to control our krodha, because what I feel is sometimes my mind says, and then what my mind says, I listen to it and that I do. So anger develops due to that.
See, anger means frustrated expectations. If you want to summarize anger, what is anger? Anger means frustrated expectations. Sometimes what happens, when we can't achieve something, we are angry. Or sometimes when we do things opposite to our expectation, like we are expecting, like say in devotee terms, we are thinking that we should be good devotees, but we end up speaking something or doing something wrong, we feel angry. Ultimately, the basic definition of anger is unfulfilled expectations, where we have frustrated our own expectation of being a good devotee. So anger means unfulfilled desires, actually. So definition fits in that case too. Does it make sense?
But Prabhuji, it is expected like that from us.
That we become angry?
No, like, we behave like gentlemen.
Yes, it is expected, but it should not be anger. It should bring humility. These are different aspects. See, when you have materialistic approach, you become angry. Why you become angry? That we are not able to do it. But a devotee's attitude is, I have so many faults. I'm so fallen. I need more mercy. So he becomes more humble. So there are two aspects of it. Becoming angry is sign of pride. But becoming humble, seeing our own mistakes, seeing our own faults, it's sign of a devotee. Like Rupa and Sanatan going to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they are saying that we are Neech Jati. We have served the Muslim emperor. We are so fallen. Please be merciful unto us. There is nobody in this world except us who deserve your mercy more than anybody else. So that is devotee. They didn't become angry. Oh, we have served Muslim king so bad, they're becoming angry on themselves. No. Devotee becomes humble. He becomes humbled by situation. But a non-devotee, he becomes angry because he thinks he is doer. He can solve his own problems. But devotee, he approaches Krishna. He approaches Guru. That I have so many faults. Please help me. I need your more mercy. So that is difference, Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, second you told about the eating. So,
Yeah.
but sometimes, it feels like that someone should cook for me also. Every day I am only cooking. And here there is no Govindas also. So what should we do in this case?
Prabhupada says this is the concession devotees have. They can have nice prasad. This is the only sense gratification which is allowed. So you can have nice cooking. If you don't want to cook, you can make friends who know nice cooking. That much intelligence we should have. Have friends who know nice cooking. Guru Maharaj used to say that either I go to people who have nice cooking or I make them nice cooks because I know future they will cook for me. So, so either you make nice cooks or you make friendship with somebody who is a nice cook. So sometimes, you can go to their place and have nice prasad. So yeah, that sense gratification is allowed as long as we are taking prasad. We'll discuss that Krishna bado dayamay, kari jivva jai, so prasad anna dil bhai. Every day we are praying that Krishna is so merciful that to conquer this tongue, he has sent us this prasad. So now it talks about prasad, but it doesn't tell which prasad. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given us freedom to make nice prasad. Prasad is prasad. Pizza is also prasad and khichdi is also prasad. So you can make nice prasad and take that. That independence is given. That is not sense gratification. As long as we take it in proper consciousness that yes, this is prasad. So yes, we can have nice prasad. ISKCON is famous for prasad. Okay. When we talk about Jivva Lalasa, it's for two people. One, those who don't eat prasad, and second, those who don't consider prasad as prasad. Like suppose you went to temple and they gave you some karela. Karela, I don't like karela. This is offense, You may not like it, but don't say it. Because it is prasad, you should honor it in proper consciousness. Right. Bharat Krishna Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji, can you enlarge the PowerPoint? Because there are sides, just because it makes it easier to read.
Yes, just 1 minute. Actually, let me see, because I'm using a new machine.
Okay, all right. So it's all right then.
Yes, I think I got it. Yes. Is it better?
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, it's very good.
Okay. So, yes, these 6 urges, if one can control, one can become a good disciple. And then in future, you can initiate all over the world. So how to do that? Prabhupada is giving simple tips. Vacha, we all want to speak. Now the speaking also means writing and typing, putting a lot of posts on social media, putting nice status, chatting all day. This is also Vacho Vegam, urge to speak. Prabhupada is writing that writing articles and things, magazines, books, this is also Vacho Vegam. So I have seen one Buddha, I happened to got initiated also by him before joining ISKCON. He doesn't speak. He was a Moni Baba. But then he has a nice book in front of him where he used to write and express himself. Prabhupada is telling, if you speak or you don't speak, writing is also expressing your words. So that also comes in the form of Vacho Vegam. So if somebody wants to really purify Vacho Vegam, speak Krishna Katha. Those who like to talk a lot, they should become preachers. Just catch 2-3 people and start preaching Krishna consciousness. I was hearing Radha Gopinath Prabhu from Chowpatty, and he was telling that when he was reading Ishopanishad, he became so inspired by reading Ishopanishad that he wanted to give class on Ishopanishad. But the problem is there was no audience. So what he did, he went to a Marathi old age home and he was giving classes in English to old people in old age home. None of them understood what he is speaking. But he said, my tendency to speak is engaged, that I am doing it for myself, for my purification. So at least if we don't have that feeling that, okay, we should help in Prabhupada's mission and we should go and share Krishna consciousness, at least for our own purification, we should speak Krishna Katha. Share with others glories of Krishna, glories of Srila Prabhupada, glories of devotees, glories of different scriptures. Even to tell that, you like this, some verses from Bhagavad Gita, you can share this to your colleagues, which they can also appreciate. So some Krishna Katha, if we discuss, that will be helpful for controlling our urge to speak. Second, Manasa, fixing mind in the lotus feet of Krishna. Now, how to do that? Fixing mind will be easier when we fix our senses. See, mind is related to senses. Mind is the ropes by which the horses of senses are tied. So when we physically serve by hands, when we clean temple, by feet, when we walk in parikrama, when we go to temple, by eyes, we take darshan of the Lord, by ears, when we hear Krishna's sound, Krishna's kirtan, by speech. So when we engage our senses in Krishna's service, mind also gets nourished. Another way to feed mind is hearing, specifically. Because when we hear Krishna Katha, mind gets subject matter to focus on. If you don't hear Krishna Katha, then mind goes for different objects of this world. But if we give enough food to mind to think that, oh, how Krishna is so wonderful, how he is so beautiful, how he is so intelligent, how he is so powerful. So all these subject matter mind will focus on, and then tendency for mind to run away will be slowly controlled. Now coming to Krodha, how to control Krodha. So here license is given. Those who blaspheme Lord and his devotees, you can become angry on them. That's how the anger can be utilized. Like there are two famous battles in the history of this planet. One is Battle of Ramayana, one is Battle of Mahabharata. And in Battle of Ramayana, Lord Hanuman's contribution is unparalleled. And Battle of Mahabharata, Arjuna's contribution is unparalleled. Both are devotees of Lord. Now can you imagine somebody can fight without being angry? Can you burn somebody's house without being angry? Now, Hanuman burned whole Lanka. He has to be angry. Arjuna is killing so many people. He has to be angry. But that anger is utilized in service of Krishna. So when somebody blasphemes Krishna, when somebody blasphemes devotees, we can become angry. Prabhupada used to become angry on atheists, on Mayavadis. He used to say, if you criticize Mayavadis, you will advance. Generally, if you criticize, it's not a good habit. But Prabhupada says, if you criticize Mayavadis, you will advance. So you can utilize your anger there. Next, Jiva. As we discussed, by taking prasad, we can control the urges of eating. So we have to make sure we take prasad. Many times there is a tendency to take vegetarian food. That, okay, we are vegetarians, no onion, no garlic. Then flights also now they serve no onion, no garlic. Prabhupada used to say, we are not vegetarians. We are Krishnatarians. So we have to make sure that we take prasad. Even if we take vegetarian food, it is sin. We are read in Bhagavad Gita, Bhunjate te agam pakpam. If we take food without offering, it is sin. So even if you are stuck in some situations where you have to eat outside, at least mentally offer it to Krishna and take. Because we have to make sure we only take prasad. In general terms, we should offer and take. But if you are stuck in some place, at least mentally offer it and take prasad. It's very important. Then Udar, talking about belly, one should observe fasting. Like we are supposed to fast once in 15 days on Ekadashi. Don't make it as a feast day. Ekadashi is a fast day. Generally in ISKCON, we make so many preparations on Ekadashi also. Ekadashi feast. It doesn't match. It should be Ekadashi fast, not Ekadashi feast. Then occasions like Janmashtami, Radha Ashtami, Ram Navami. There's so many occasions of Lord's appearance. Vaishnava's appearance, disappearance days. So we should observe those fastings sincerely. Of course, if some health issues are there, we can adjust with fruits or some liquids. But as far as we can do, we should do full fasting. And then upastha, controlling genitals. Putrarte kriyate bharya. The purpose of sex desire, sex indulgence is to beget Krishna conscious children. If you can't do that, then no need sex life. Prabhupada told that one time. He was sharing with his disciples this same principle. Then Brahmananda Prabhu, he told Srila Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, if we don't have confidence that we can raise Krishna conscious children, and if we don't indulge in sex life, even being grihasthas, then how will this material world grow? Because the population will start decreasing. Prabhupada said, let this damn material world end. This is what we want. Let this damn material world end. Either we should beget Krishna conscious children, or we don't want non-Krishna conscious population. Burden is not population. Burden is non-devotee population. Suppose if you have 1 lakh Krishna conscious devotees, they are not burden on earth because they will always be contributing to the planet. But burden is sinful people. Mother Earth went to Krishna when Kansa was doing all different sinful activities, where Hiranyakashipu was doing all sinful activities. So Mother Earth feel burden of sins, not of people. So if you make Krishna conscious children, you can beget hundreds of Krishna conscious children. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was asked one time that Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that he is calm. His sex life, which is as per religious principles. So why you have become brahmachari? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, if I can produce Krishna conscious children, then I can beget 100 children. Like my father did. My father gave birth to Krishna conscious children. But I have no confidence on myself. Therefore, I became brahmachari. Therefore, I am not begetting any children. So in ISKCON, Prabhupada used to say, everybody is brahmachari. Brahmachari is brahmachari. Sannyasi is a brahmachari. Vanaprastha is sannyasi. Vanaprastha is brahmachari. And grihastha is also brahmachari. Because grihastha should only indulge in sex life for begetting Krishna conscious children. Many times this principle is diluted. Many times some preachers may tell differently. But actually that is not the case. Prabhupada was very particular about it, that sex life should only be utilized for begetting Krishna conscious children. So that is the 6 ways to control these senses. Chetan Prabhu, can you read this quote?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. The conclusion is that one who can control these 6 items, speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals, is to be called a Swami or Goswami. Such a sober person is qualified to make disciples all over the world.
So we have to learn to control the senses, 6 senses, 6 urges. And Prabhupada also gave this particular solution to each urge. Venudhari Prabhu, can you read this quote?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. So nectar instruction has come out very nice. It is very important and must be immediately read by all devotees. In the near future, we shall introduce the Bhakti Shastri examination for second initiation, and this shall be one of the required books of study. Anyone who reads it will immediately understand what Krishna consciousness is.
So Srila Prabhupada is so confident about this book. He is recommending that all devotees must immediately read this book. And one who reads it will immediately understand what Krishna consciousness is. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada wanted, it's a very small book, but very very helpful book for our devotional life. So I'll request devotees to kindly read a few pages. Like today we have covered text 1. So I'll request you to read till text 3 at least before we meet tomorrow. It's not many pages, it's just 20-30 pages. So if you can read a small book, if you can read till text 3, it will be nice. It will be easier for us to discuss tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Updeshamrita ki jai. Hare Krishna.